Good morning, everyone. This is Wednesday, May 5th. We're in the 7th week of Easter. I'm down by the lake, taking a walk. It's my spiritual practice. Nothing makes me feel closer to God and is a more prayerful act for me than walking, especially in the woods. Sometimes when I walk, I just walk and let my mind be quiet and receive all that there is to receive and see, hear, smell, just be in the woods. Sometimes I walk very slowly and do breath prayers, just with each breath, each step, I say a prayer. Sometimes I'm feeling too anxious, too worried. There's too loaded down with things to even form prayers with words. And then those are the moments when I know I have to just trust that God really does. God hears us even when we cannot speak, even when we can. God hears us through our word, without words. God knows what's in our heart and our minds, what's worrying us. Isn't that comforting? Today I was meditating. I've been using Philippians as part of my daily meditation. And one of the verses, a couple verses really jumped out at me today, and I wanted to share them with you. Chapter 4, verses 6 through 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Man, I needed to hear that today. I did. I really needed to. How about you? I needed to hear that today and every day, but it really spoke to me today. Do not be anxious. I could feel myself starting to become really anxious again because the news is not particularly cheery, right? It hasn't been particularly cheery for over a year now. But, we're starting to get just at a time when we're kind of feeling optimistic and the vaccine's coming out and more people are getting vaccinated. And there's this feeling like, gosh, maybe things can reopen. Maybe we can really get back to some sense of normalcy, of gathering and being together, hugging, all the things I miss so much. We all miss so much. Then we hear the pandemic is still raging. Our numbers in our state are increasing. Numbers in our county are beginning to increase. The 4th wave is here. And I think, oh no. And I start to feel anxious. I think, gosh, how much longer? I feel worried and anxious. So I needed to hear today, do not be anxious. In fact, just take it all to God. And I know that can sound rather trite. Just let God have it. Because how do you really do that? How can you really just let go? But then I read it again. And I noticed that the thing that I hadn't really picked up on the first time I read it was it said, take it all to God. Pray through prayer, through petition, and through thanksgiving. And that's the piece I think sometimes I forget. And that maybe it is really those 3 things that's the key to letting go of some of our own anxiety, some of our own worries, is that we plead, we petition when we are feeling nervous and anxious and upset and out of sync in our lives. But sometimes we forget the other piece, to pray with thanksgiving, to take a look at what there is to be thankful for, to give thanks to see the abundance, to see the goodness, to see the hope, to see that, there is still good news. There is good news even in the midst of all of what is hard to hear, the loss and the pain, the fear. There is good news. So I came to the woods to walk today, to do my spiritual practice, to feel as close to God as I can possibly feel, in a sacred and holy way. To be reminded that there is so much to be thankful for. To see the bumblebees at work, and the hummingbirds zipping by, and the songbirds singing their mating songs, and the trees coming back to life after a long winter. New life. To see the forest bed, the understory, just filled with sleeping beauties and little flowers and undergrowth that nourishes and gives strength and food to the trees that breathe the air and filter the air, and the air that we breathe. To look out on the living water, the lake. So much to be thankful for. So I'm praying with thanksgiving. I'm praying with thanksgiving even in my grief, even in my anxiety. I would just invite you to do the same. There's so much, of course, that we can name that is painful, that is sad. We need to petition God for God's help. But there's also an abundance here in this world and in our lives that we can't let be overshadowed. Sunday we're going to be out at Gwynwood for a drive-in service, and it's going to be a great day. The weather looks really promising, and we're really hopeful to see as many of you as are able to come out. We'll be safely gathered. Remain in our cars. You can tune in on your radio. If the weather is nice, you're always, which we anticipate it being, you're welcome to get out of the car and sit around the campfire in a safe distance from one another. But at any rate, it will be great to just gather in person. And I hope that you are able to come. And if you are not, we will still be on Facebook Live. And you can join us through Zoom and Facebook Live. Have a beautiful rest of the week, and we'll see you on Sunday. And remember the words of the epistle in Philippians. Do not be anxious, but let God, give it to God. Give it to God through prayer, petition, and thanksgiving.